What up, everyone? Today is March 14th, Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. I have my haul here of 21 with 19 different titles. Guys, I have finally hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for everyone who has supported me throughout this past year and a half. It has been awesome. Truly appreciate it, guys. Would not obviously have done that without y'all. I love all the information that this community shares, man. It is spectacular, man. I have picked up so many titles and so many issues, back issue hunting, throughout this past year and a half, that I would never have picked up had I not, met so many people here in this community. Awesome, guys. So yeah, I'm just rambling on. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. So starting off with DC, we have The Flash. Love this title. It gets a little stagnant every now and again, just due to the storytelling, in my opinion. But love this title here. Of course, Barry Allen has lost his powers. Gorilla Grodd has stolen the Speed Force away from Barry Allen. You have Wally West, who's kind of stepped up. The family, the Speed Force family, is all there. Trying to see, who's going to take on the mantle. This one, you kind of see Barry Allen go through extreme measures in order to pick up his Speed Force once again. So yeah, man, great stuff, great title, man. I love The Flash. If y'all enjoyed the TV show, I would highly suggest to kind of, start here at the rebirth side of things and check out The Flash. All right, next up from DC, Trinity. Trinity started off pretty well, in my opinion. The first writer, I forgot who the first writer was, but man, he did, pretty decent job. The second writer is not all that, in my opinion. This one issue that this concludes the story arc where they went on to, man, I forgot what this fantasy barbaric world that they went to, Battle World, I think, or something of that nature. This one kind of ties it up like in a past tense. They're kind of debriefing, what happened that concluded the story arc. Story arc was very mediocre at best. I would not recommend anyone to pick up Trinity at this point in time. This and a little bit lackluster in my opinion right now. So yeah, Trinity. All right, this is one I would recommend. So this is, they actually changed the title here recently. So this was New Superman, and they added and the Justice League of China. Great team dynamics, man. Kanan, who is the Chinese Superman, excellent character, man. His growth, his, all the limitations that he has. I mean, he really, builds into great character development, in my opinion. He's not straight up ripoff of Superman. This one kind of introduces the new Aquaman, and apparently, he's from Korea. They kind of get into a little backstory here. He's kind of like, there's something mentally wrong with him at this point in time. I don't know if he's gone under mind control or something of that nature. But yeah, they're kind of completing the team. Of course, they have, man, I forgot what her name was. But they got the Chinese Flash, they have the Wonder Woman, they have Batman, they have Superman, obviously. I think they're, rounded off with the Korean Aquaman, and he seems pretty cool so far. But yeah, man, really enjoy this title so far. Highly suggest anyone who's kind of looking for like a Justice League alternate reality type of feel to it, try to check out this title. Love this one. All right, next up from DC again, we have Sideways. I really enjoyed that #1 that came out. This is #2. Everyone is saying this is like a Spider-Man ripoff. I agree. He looks like him. He's kind of sarcastic like Peter Parker. I really don't carry the resemblance to Spider-Man. I think this character is pretty awesome in my opinion. So the end of the first one kind of introduces this guy. I forgot what his name was. It was like something weird, like something Faust or something. Tempest Fignot. However, I probably mispronounced that. But yeah, so this guy's kind of like a guardian, so to speak, of time and space, and he kind of he knows that Sideways is using powers. So he basically came in to eliminate Sideways or take his powers away. So this is kind of like the first time I think he's been battle damaged, so to speak, and how he kind of deals with it. A little bit more character development with this girl. I forgot her name, but she gave him his costume. But just really enjoy this title so far. I have subscribed to it. I definitely will be continuing on. All right, next up, and a quick shout out to Rag718. I know that many of y'all know Rag, part of the community for quite some time now, over a year and a half. I think he was commenting and helping out with information with people assisting in comments, far before he even posted videos, if I recall that correctly. But man, great guy, man, a wealth of information out there. So anyways, just going back and forth with him early this morning before the stores opened up. He recommended to get one more of Avengers. I had one in my pull, and this one introduced the Immortal Hulk, and I'll kind of show that one off. A little spoiler here, but yep, there he is. Obviously, it's Bruce Banner, but kind of goes into a little bit more of his, his immortality and how he can't be killed. It's all the attempts that he had. He thought he had a foolproof plan, but I guess not. But yeah, so I'm going to be collecting that one all in trade, and really just collecting the floppies just for the collector in me, just because they're all selling out. Okay, so next up from Marvel, X-Men Blue. So the time-displaced main team here, of course they went off in their little, their oversaturated Venom storyline that just concluded. So this one is back in Madripoor, back in their X-Mansion, and the only two members who were left was Bloodstorm and Jimmy. So this one kind of centers around them. I'd never really read too much about them. So getting a little bit more character development here, and you get a little bit more backstory with Magneto's plans, what he's doing, and I have not been reading X-Men, but apparently Havoc went straight up evil. I don't know how far back. I think Axis, I believe, is when he went evil. But yeah, getting just a little bit more backstory about him. So yeah, X-Men Blue. I'm picking up all the X-Men titles right now, man. Love them all. All right, next up, Weapon X. So this, as I said before, this was kind of like a slice and dice type of title. If you're looking for just pure action, man, I think, this is really it, in my opinion. This one really centered around, so it's Wolverine's, Old Man Logan's birthday, and so Sabretooth decides to give him his birthday gift, which he tries to basically kill him. So this was a huge epic battle, man. Great stuff. There was, they kind of go talk about history, between the two for a while. Lot of great action that happened here. I'm a little disappointed, I'm not that big of a fan of the artwork here on this title. I'm looking for just a little bit more detail, especially when it comes to, these two guys fighting. So, outside of that, it was a great battle that they had here. Of course, it's not finished, but man, great stuff. If you're looking for that battle action, some good traditional Sabretooth Wolverine, man, good title, man. Pick it up. Okay, next up, another X-Men, Astonishing X-Men. So again, love this one. This is the one where the guy who he wants you to call him X is Professor Xavier. He came back in Phantom X's body. I guess in this one you kind of find out that, I guess it was not just a mind insertion. I guess there were some physical body differences that also happened, because he does not have all of Phantom X's powers. It's nanites, specifically. But this little battle where Old Man Logan actually cuts Phantom X, not knowing that he couldn't heal, and you get like a little oops. I thought that was hilarious. I actually laughed out loud when I kind of read through that. But yeah, man, again, I love all the X-Men titles that are out there right now. Check them out, guys. All right, another #1 that came out here recently. We have the New Mutants, Dead Souls. This is like a little mini-series. I think this is a 6-issue series, if I recall that one correctly. So I heard that this one was supposed to be tied in with the movie that was supposed to be coming out in April. It got pushed out to next year. I guess there's a lot of issues with the quality of the movie, I think is what I heard. Anyways, so the movie coming out was more of a horror feel. So they kind of went for that horror type of feel in this one to a degree, more the artwork than anything else. It was good to see the old team back again. I was kind of wondering if they're gonna do like origin story and kind of explain it, but they kind of kicked off. They clearly knew each other already, and they kind of just got back together, and they're like inserted into a mission, so to speak. Pretty cool to see the old team together. I have not read the New Mutants or this team since the mid-90s, to tell you the truth. So yeah, pretty cool to see it again. All right, Star Wars Darth Vader. Man, I love this title. As I said before in the past, both this is Volume 2. Volume 1 was also excellent. This one's kind of cool, man. So you have Darth Vader, he's always meditating, and that's how you get like into his psyche. And this is kind of like a lot of character development to, of course we saw in the movies like what happened between the battle and his growth, his evolution to Darth Vader. But this is really like how his psyche kind of deals with it and how he starts to accept, who he is, why he is, what could have been different. Excellent storyline. If you enjoy Darth Vader, if you are a true Star Wars fan, you must pick up this title. Go ahead and wait for a trade if you want, but I highly recommend to pick up this title. Darth Vader. All right, another Star Wars title that's out right now, Thrawn. So I love this guy, from the novels, from the original Dark Horse, title, the adaptation of the novel. Man, excellent stuff. So, for those of y'all who don't know who Thrawn is, he's like a super, intellect strategist who worked his way up to the general ranks of the Empire. In a sense, he's kind of like a Moriarty of the Sherlock. The Sherlock Holmes fan fiction type of, that mythos over there. So man, just a super intelligent guy. He's out to crush his enemies with the least amount of effort. The most efficient way to crush his enemies is what this guy's all about. Man, excellent. Love this guy. So yeah, Star Wars Thrawn. All right, next up from Image, we have Infidel, and I actually was able to pick up the Virgin cover, which I thought looked pretty cool. I love those red covers, of course. So yeah, I picked up the Virgin cover and the cover A. So this is a horror type of storyline. The artwork I felt went great with this type of storyline. So this artwork with the storyline, I would give this like a 4, maybe 4.25 out of 5. I thought they did a really great job with the artwork. The story, however, has not fully captured me. I would give this storyline so far maybe like a 3.25 out of 5. I'm actually going to thumb through that number 2 before I actually pick it up. So yeah, Infidel, this one was okay read so far. If you enjoy horror, check this one out, but average so far. All right, next up from Image, Versus. So man, this was a pretty good title. This is just number 2. This one follows, I forgot the main guy's, the main character's name, but he was put in cryo. He was brought out. They've been doing this for quite some time. The battlefield, it's basically a video game, but they're in a real battlefield. And this has become like this culture's like entertainment, so to speak. This is like Survivor, in this futuristic, faraway world. So yeah, so the main character apparently, he actually gets defeated here in this issue, but something kind of happened to where his popularity, on social media is just soaring. So this guy's becoming, he was already awesome, but he's becoming a legend, as time is passing. So yeah, excellent stuff. I love video games. Of course, I love first-person shooters. I was into, I did paintball for quite some time. I did the 7-man NPPL circuit for quite some years. Man, I love this type of storyline. Great stuff. So yeah, Versus. All right, next up, Curse Words. And I'm a little upset with myself. I'm putting the comic back into my box earlier today. I dog tagged the hell out of this cover, man. So it's number 12. It's not ever going to be worth anything, I'm sure. But man, hate when I mess something up myself. Anyway, so yeah, love this title. So Curse Words all deals with magic. It's more of a zany type of color palette, type of type of artwork, but very realistic type of storylines. There's humor that's kind of built in there from time to time. This one, not really too much humor that went on in this one issue. Great battle though. So you have the ever going, they're always, Ruby Stitch and Wizard are always going at each other, man. And it's funny that they kind of always make up and they kind of, just kind of always get back together. But man, a lot of good fighting that happened in this one issue. So yeah, Curse Words. Okay, next up from Devil's Due, we have Malefic. Man, great, excellent title. So again, I love horror. It's just hard to find good horror. This one really fit the bill here. I enjoy that, the main character, the doctor, she's very troubled herself. So great character development on her side, and then you have all the patients who, each one has their completely different, some of them are supernatural, based, some of them are just, crazy. So there's like a good mixture of a lot of characters, and they're always introducing new patients. So the storyline is just always, continuing and growing. I really enjoy this title. If you're looking for something different on the horror side, I don't think that many people have been picking this one up, but try it out, guys. I really do enjoy it. So yeah, Malefic. All right, next up from Dark Horse Comics, we have Giants. Another title that I really adore. So, I love, Japanese anime. This one really has that anime feel to it, that anime storyline, the anime type of artwork. It just has that traditional feel to it. Love it. This one it's based around the kaiju. The kaiju have taken over the surface side. You have humans who have formed not gangs, but civilizations. Of course, they war with each other more on the underground side, but there are people you find out that live above ground as well. So this is kind of like a big exploring type of storyline right now. But man, these two, I guess you could say they're previously brothers, they really turn on each other. Really, really surprising. So yeah, really enjoy the storyline, guys. Giants. Okay, this is actually a back issue in order to get through number 2 that came out today. So this is Rick Veitch's The One. So somehow I passed this one up when it originally came out last month for the number 1. I noticed this number 2 kind of read through the the solicit, and looked pretty actually decent to me. However, after reading through issue number 1 and issue number 2, I am definitely will not be continuing forward. I did not enjoy the artwork. This is really like a 1.5 out of 5, and the storyline was just, it was not there for me. So yeah, it sounded good, but I would definitely pass on this one. All right, last up we have System of a Down. So this was, the Hard Rock Biographies series, and I really wish that this was in color, but other than that, man, great backstory to these guys. So I did not get into System of a Down until probably until the Mesmerized second album came out. I saw them live with, who were they with? Avenged Sevenfold. Man, after I saw this group live, man, I was sold. I was mesmerized. One of the best live bands that I've ever seen. Their music is really weird, weird tempos and stuff on the studio albums, and it's so hard to translate that to a live environment, and man, these guys just nail it, dude. So yeah, so another quick, let me find out where that was. Another quick shout out to, let me see where that was. Here it is. So a quick shout out to Pope Cerebus, as well as Comic Vantage. So they told me about, so I went to 311 Day this past weekend in Vegas, and they actually told me about this Torpedo Comics. This Torpedo Comics was actually created in Vegas by the drummer of System of a Down. I've never heard of that. That was brand new information to me. Unfortunately, I slept in during the days because I partied too hard at nighttime, and I gambled with any free time I had during the day. So I could not hit that shop. But man, I was so surprised to find out that information, and then this comic comes out the very next week after I get back from Vegas. I thought that was like, what a coincidence. So yeah, thanks guys for that information. So yeah, love this band. Man, I wish I could have gotten into them a little bit earlier, so I missed a lot of early concerts there. So guys, that's going to be it for this week's brand new haul. Should you enjoy what you see here, please like and subscribe. Talk to you later.